Welcome to the PrepZone show presented by Bevill State. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see, because we do love college football here, and that's what we talk about. I'm Johnathan Bentley, joined with my co-host, Zach McCullar. Zach, we're down to two high school teams now.
We are.
It's really
we have
depressing.
Just two, Corner and Lynn. They're both 10-1, so we got the two best are still left. This week, though, even in the playoffs, every week could be the last one. It's very fishy about that. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Speaking of you don't know what's going to happen, let's jump right to a game that was probably the craziest of the week. Priceville comes into Dora with a 4-6 record and leaves with an 18-14 win. Did you see that coming?
No, I did not, but that must have been a fun bus ride back up I-65 after that game for Priceville. My goodness.
No, I can't believe it. I still can't believe it.
Hey, it's those Huntsville area schools.
That I say are terrible.
Right.
I say that every year.
Priceville's not really in Huntsville, but they're close enough. They're closer
Morgan
to Huntsville
County.
than we are. Yeah.
And they had it, I think this team had two really good seasons in a row. And maybe they were just ready for the playoffs.
Exactly. They just wanted a shot to take off Dora, and they did that, man. 18,
we had
14.
Dora's helmet here. Maybe we jinxed them.
Oh.
That's why we did not put a helmet here. We're going with our PrepZone helmet this week.
Ooh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I hate that for Dora. I was really hoping they could make a run, but, playoffs, crazy things happen. Every sport.
Yes.
Even hockey, probably.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know, but maybe.
Well, hockey is hockey, so that's chaotic enough.
Okay, so let's jump to another game. Morris Hill 63, Oakman 7. I was at that game, let's put it that way. It was rough. Morris Hill's really, really good.
Yeah, and Oakman, from what I heard, took the opening kickoff back for a touchdown, and then it was 63-0.
Very exciting start.
Yep, the rest of the way there, though.
Man, that was a really tough draw for Oakman. Bad luck every year.
Because you're a 3 seed. Look, Priceville's a 4 seed, and they beat a 1 seed. Oakman's a 3 seed, and they get stuck with Morris Hill, who's the 4th best team in the state in Class 3A.
That it did not work out well. No. And now Morris Hill plays Madison Academy. That would be a thriller probably next week.
Morris Hill's probably going to win that one.
That'll be a good game. Lynn beat Shoals Christian. This is what a 1 typically does to a 4, 53-7.
Right. That's Lynn. That's the Lynn team we've come to expect from Shoals Christian that was just outmatched. Mm-hmm. This week, however, Lynn does not have an outmatched opponent. It should be a fun one.
Yes. A little bit different this week. So one of the biggest surprises, I don't know if it's that big a surprise. I mean, we both picked Corner to win. They beat Randolph 42-21.
I was shocked that Corner was able to win by 3 touchdowns. I thought this would be close back and forth down to the wire. But, hey, the Yellow Jackets are for real. Even though they lost to Hayville, and that puts them at the 3 seed. How do you get stuck at the 3 seed after one loss?
That wasn't fair.
That's a bad rule.
State needs to do something about that. Right. But, it was 21-21 at the half. They scored 21 unanswered. It was really good to see that.
That's what good teams do. That's what good teams do. They suffocate the team and the other team in the second half, and they're able to win like that.
They just ran at will on them. And, they used to throw the ball, but they saw they could run on them, and they didn't stop. Pickens County 32, Addison 20. That was closer than the score indicates.
It was. Pickens County was able to get a late touchdown to seal the deal after Addison was basically running desperation offense as the clock ran down. Addison, a great season, but they had a tough draw in the first round as well with Pickens County. It was a great game, though, just like we thought it would, but the Tornadoes got the win. Yeah,
that was a 2 against a 3. I mean, that's tough. Pickens County, get the state runner-up in the first round. Yep. You're a 2 seed. But, Pickens is one of those teams probably hit the switch in the playoffs.
Exactly. They were built for this. Pickens, it seems like they're always in the playoffs, and they always bring their best foot forward in the playoffs, because last year, like you said, they were state runners-up, but they didn't win the region. Yeah. Lynn won that region.
That's right. Yep. Just kept going once the playoffs started. South Lamar 32, Meek 14. Meek was up 14-0 in that game.
And then South Lamar absolutely stormed back. You had that flicker of optimism. Hey, Meek could pull an upset, and then South Lamar stomped it and squashed it. And it does not end well for Meek. It's a far cry from 11-1 last year, but they can build and they can be back at that level next year. I firmly believe that.
I don't think we're going to see any more, hopefully, 0-10 Meeks for a while.
No, it's going to be a long time.
I used to get 1-win Meek, 2-win Meek. Now I'm used to winning Meek, which is different. All right, so we've got 2 teams left, but let's go over the teams that made we had 6 in the playoffs. Let's grade those teams that are done now. Dora, Oakman, Addison, Meek. All right, so Dora finishes 8-3, region champ, but they lay an egg in the opening round of the playoffs. Where do you put them?
I'm going to have them at a B- here, just because they have all this talent. They have an excellent regular season going 8-2. They win the region, like you say, but you can't lose in the first round of the playoff to a 4 seed that's got 4 wins on the season. And, it's a tough way, just a tough way to end the season. Hate it for the Bulldogs.
I really hate it. That was a big, really good group of seniors.
Yeah, it was. And when I heard that score, I was shocked. I thought it couldn't have just happened.
Yeah, I mean, they were winning at half, and you just figure, they'll just keep going and, put this thing away. And they didn't score in the second half. It's a great game plan by Priceville, apparently. But I gave them a C just because of bad in it. Now, it was probably an A before that.
Oh, it was an A. It was an A.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look back and see an 8-3 season, you're going to think, not bad.
That's not bad.
It didn't end well.
Yeah, it's just, it's recent. Give me a month, and I'll probably be back to B.
Definitely.
Right. All right, so what about Oakman?
Oakman, I'm giving them an A- just on the season because of going 3-8 last year. You have the same exact schedule. It's not like you get reclassified and have it softer. They completely had to rebuild their team. It improved. They have a good record this year, a good team. I mean, they didn't make a long run in the playoffs, and of course it ended 63-7, but that was Mars Hill. Anybody's going to get blown out by Mars Hill.
Yeah, I kind of tossed out that last game. But, I mean, this was a team that played close with Gordo that actually finally beat Fayette County. Now, they still ran into Winfield. I gave them a B.
Winfield City.
Yeah, Winfield City School, WCHS, absolutely. But I'm not going to count Mars Hill against them. That was just, I don't know any team around here that could have played with Mars Hill last week. That was the next level. It was fun to see a team that good. Not used to that around here. Okay, so what about Addison? I'm
giving them an A on the season because it seems like every year they're underrated. You're not talking about them much. You're saying, okay, they're Addison. They go 7-3, 6-4. We've learned to expect that. But this is a really good Addison team. And the fact that they lose in the first round of the playoffs, they played Pickens. Pickens is going to be a tough team no matter when you get them. Ask Meek from last year. That ended very bad for the Tigers in the third round of the playoffs, or second round actually. Yeah, it's still going to haunt the memory of Meek fans. But Pickens is a team that's always dangerous whenever you get them.
We had a team to get a lot of bad draws this year.
We did.
It was really because they needed a little bit of help. Yeah, they didn't get anything.
Maybe next year that will make up for it.
I hope so. So I also, I gave Addison an A- because I wasn't expecting this.
Right.
We really didn't talk about them much.
No, we didn't.
Expected Meek to beat them and Meek to
forgive us Bulldog helmet back
exactly. There. So now what about Meek?
I'm going to give him a B just because, last year was such a good year and they don't really lose a lot of talent. And this year they're not as good. Still a good team, granted, but they were not as good. They did not continue in that upper echelon trajectory. Next year, though, I think that they can get back to it. Yeah,
they had some really good moments, but some really bad moments. And, I gave them a B- here. I don't know. I was expecting more, but really it's hard to go 10-0 every year.
It is. You're right.
Oh, we don't see that yet. Think how often we see that around here. It's very rare. Yeah.
Very.
So, Meek's on a good run. That's all you can ask. All right, so now I've looked up our Walker County records. I left out Winston County schools.
Right.
Teams in this county and Walker County schools went a combined 19-53. So what's the takeaway from this season for you?
And 15 of those 19 wins, incidentally, were from Dora and Oatman.
15-7. Right.
Everybody else went 4-46.
Mm-hmm. That's rough.
There's nowhere to go but up. There's
nowhere to.
It's brutal.
Yes. Some of these teams. Now I want to see how they schedule. Because if you're Carbon Hill, wouldn't any team in the state be willing to play you?
Right, and Carbon Hill, they'll be building next year. So, if you get an unsuspecting team that's going to try to sleepwalk through you, that's how you build. That's how you build a program. You start knocking off teams that you can, and you just keep climbing and climbing and climbing. That's what some of our teams, like Carbon Hill you mentioned, are going to have to do.
Some of the Christian, yeah.
Right.
Let's see how they schedule. And let's start the trajectory to go up a little bit.
Yeah, let's not.
Because we have hit, I think this is about as bottom as you can go.
Yeah.
4-46.
46. At least it wasn't 0-50, though.
Yes, it was not 0-50. Could have been 4 worse.
It could have. We had teams like Carver and Vina and others that got in here and provided for a couple of wins for our teams.
Thankfully, yes. Yeah. Yep. All right, and Hamilton.
That's right.
Yep. Put Hamilton on the schedule. Everybody. Especially Cordova. Keep them on there.
Definitely.
All right, so let's preview the 2 big games we have this week. Do you forget about either of these? We got Lynn. Oh, let's mention them first. Yeah. Lynn at Coosa Christian. 10-1 Lynn, Coosa Christian 6-5.
Yeah, but don't try to do that. He's trying to trick us now. 6-5 because they had to forfeit 4 games. Their only legitimate loss on the season was to Geraldine. Geraldine is a 10-1 team in Class 3A.
Yeah, that's that area for football is just it's next level. So the whole thing.
If you're counting the games these teams have played, they're both 10-1.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that game against Geraldine that Coosa Christian lost 26-0, they've allowed 13 points on the season. So that's 1.3 points per game over their last 10 games.
Yes.
Coosa is a legitimate state title contender.
I think this team is better than last year's. I know, yes, maybe they were cheating. I don't know. Allegedly. I don't know.
Well,
something happened to where they forfeit. They had some ineligible players, and the thing is, once they got right, nothing's changed. They might have been even better. Once the forfeits were over.
That motivation, Coosa Christian against the world, like it's Michigan against the world in college football.
Yes, that's not good for 1A.
Right.
But Lynn, this is a better Lynn team that lost to. But I think maybe Coosa Christian's better too.
I agree.
It's going to be really, really. I wish this was at Lynn.
I do too. If it was at Lynn, I would feel very confident in the Bears. But since it's going to be in Gadsden, which is just Coosa's a 3 seed and Lynn's a 1 seed. Why does Lynn have to travel to Coosa in the second round of the play?
You got to get in the state. If you want a region, you should host.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter where you're on the bracket. And does it matter that Coosa Christian went to Spring Garden? That's the reason. But anyway, that's a tough break for Lynn.
It is.
Because that is a long trip against a really good team.
Yeah, like you say, tough breaks everywhere for us.
But you're going to have to go through them eventually.
You're right.
So if you're really going to make a run at state, win this game.
Get them over early.
But I'm picking Coosa Christian.
I
don't like doing that. I want Lynn to win.
I want Lynn to win as well. I mean, I want to pick Lynn, but Coosa is so good. And when you get an inspired team, nobody's going to beat them. And I think Coosa's going to win by 2 touchdowns here. They have so much talent. They're well coached. So is Lynn. But, man, Coosa's just they are cut above everybody else in the northern part of the state.
Also have the most points scored in the game this year, 94-7 against Cedar Bluff.
That's kind of
that was bad.
They ran up the score on Cedar Bluff.
See, Lynn needs to do this for Cedar Bluff.
Yes. Fight for Cedar
Bluff, I guarantee, is cheering for them.
Oh, definitely.
Very tough game. So, speaking of tough games, we'll go to the other one. West Morgan, undefeated, 11-0 at Corner, 10-1.
And it's funny because West Morgan's a region champion and Corner's a 3 seed. It means Corner gets to host, which is fortunate, which may be kind of a tough draw for West Morgan because you got to travel to a 3 seed who's got a 10-1 record.
Yeah, that helps that this is at home. Their first home playoff game since 2006. It's been a while.
It has. It has been a long time. And
that's going to be a wild atmosphere.
Oh, it is because Corner's got optimism. You can look at the stats and think, oh, no, this may not go well. But Corner's got a shot. They got a good team.
Now, I will say they both played the same. They both have one common opponent, and it was Haleyville, which I think just has Corner's number, I'm going to say.
I think so.
They don't play them
just
well for some reason. Yeah. So Corner lost to Haleyville 32-13. West Morgan won 42-12. What's crazy is that's the game that helped put Dora into the top spot.
And
that game
meant a lot. 3A. Or
yes.
Third seed, not 3A, 3 seed.
Had Haleyville won that game, the whole thing would be different.
It'd be so chaotic.
Yes, this would be
different. Had Haleyville knocked off West Morgan, Corner's the 1 seed, Haleyville's the 3 seed, Dora's at 2.
And maybe things would have been different.
And West Morgan may not even be the 1 seed for all we know.
Yeah, that's right.
They probably would have, but.
But yeah, it's it's another tough one. 11-0. I mean, what are you going to do? The thing is, when you get this far, you just got teams like this that are left. The awesome teams. All right, so Corner, I mean, they've only had 1 playoff game in their history. This is really a historic season.
It is.
I mean, we haven't mentioned that enough, maybe. I mean, they've never won 10 games before. They had their longest winning streak in school history. It's a first-year coach.
Wow.
Yeah.
That shows.
Coach Campbell, Trent Campbell over there has done an incredible job.
He's probably going to wind up winning Coach of the Year. Man, what a turnaround.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't work out this week, still.
Yeah, I mean, how many teams can beat West Morgan?
Definitely.
But as I said, that's not in Huntsville, but it is a North team. They're way overrated. Right. No, 11-0, that's going to be really, really tough. So 2 teams, how many are we going to have left this time next week? So we're
I'm sorry. I've
I've
got to go West Morgan here.
Yeah, I am also.
I'm hoping Corner's going to win. I'm hoping Corner and Lynn both
I
win.
I'm about 0-2 on these picks.
So do I.
I'll be very happy with that.
I don't mind losing for the sake of some more teams.
Losing anyway. So I was going to do it for the teams.
It's a win-win situation.
It's all right. So let's jump into some college football real fast. That Alabama game, that was awful. They obliterated. I don't even remember what I didn't even write the score down. It was so bad.
It was not awful. It was
50
glorious.
something.
49-21. You were probably
21. Wow.
You were probably busy eating pork or something before the Arkansas game.
I was not watching that. I told my wife I was going to another room and watch a decent game because this got out of hand quick.
You probably watched Michigan Penn State then.
Yes, I did. And that was entertaining. All right, so Alabama gets a kind of a warm up this week. And you'll be there.
I will. Chattanooga, 11 a.m., bright and early, freezing cold.
Oh, do you like those early games?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you do?
I do because we're going to be able to come home and they'll have some decent football to watch when we get home. Washington, Oregon State, 6:30 p.m.
Huh, whereas if it's a later game, you miss everything.
Right.
Early and late. So Auburn plays, it's kind of the same. Well, what did you think about Auburn? Beating Arkansas 48-10?
48-10 to Arkansas. This has got to be Sam Pittman's last year in Fayetteville,
you can't do that. You just can't do that.
You can't lose to Auburn 48-10 when this is an Auburn team that's just trying to find something and rebuild. And it's funny, it's shaping up that Auburn may have a 4-game win streak heading into the Iron Bowl.
I would have never thought that.
Neither would I.
After the LSU game, I was pretty distraught. I was like, maybe we can get to a bowl.
Yeah,
I was just hoping Birmingham, that's the goal.
Now
it still kind of is, but
they can get to Citrus Bowl, Liberty
could
Bowl.
Overshoot it. Now they don't need to play anybody that good. No, we needed to let's play Purdue again. I think they're 2-7. Yeah,
why not?
Let's get Purdue on the schedule. I love that. That was the best bowl game I've ever been to. The 63, I think they scored. That was fun. All right, then I went last year, 2 years ago, and they lost to Houston. I think it was 13-10 in the Birmingham Bowl.
It was
parents got COVID. Auburn lost. It was a disaster.
And it was raining, wasn't it?
It was really, I remember I had a poncho on.
Really overcast.
Yeah. All right, so Auburn they can get 7 wins this year.
They can.
This coming up week, they have New Mexico State.
Yeah, New Mexico State, which is a quality team at
better than usual.
8-3, that area. But Auburn's going to probably steamroll. It's not on my picks because Auburn's going to probably win big. Auburn's got so much momentum. Peyton Thorne is looking like an actual quarterback.
Actual average quarterback.
He's looking like a quarterback.
He's gone from bad to average, which is a huge step.
Definitely.
And they do have a common opponent, UMass, and UMass beat New Mexico State.
That's right. First game of the year.
That's right. Wow. It's impressive you knew that.
Appreciate that.
You know your UMass football.
I do.
I've always said that about
Go
you.
Minutemen.
All right. So since we last spoke, 2 SEC teams are looking for coaches.
That's
kind of surprising.
Right. It is. I was shocked that Texas A&M decided to let Jimbo Fisher go after beating Mississippi State 51-10 Saturday, but apparently winning 51-10 to Mississippi State's not good enough, considering that the next day Mississippi State said, you know what, our coach is gone too.
They both lose a coach. You remember a couple years ago that happened after the Egg Bowl. Matt Luke was let go, and then a couple weeks later, Moorhead was gone.
Yeah. You could call it
kind of weird.
Last week the buyout bowl then, right?
Yeah, and the buyout, speaking of, $77 million. I mean, this was one of the dumbest contracts of all time. I don't like them, but still is just dumb.
It was one of those panic extensions is what he got. He had a good year in 2020.
They were good that year.
Yeah, they did. I think they went 9-1.
They lost to Bama, and that was it.
Yeah, they lost to Bama and Tuscaloosa. That was it. They go 9-1. And it's a really good year, and there's some high-profile job openings like at Auburn, and Texas A&M was a little bit scared, so they're going to give him a $90 million contract.
Oh,
that was a bad mistake.
Yeah, I don't understand the deal with buyouts. If you want to leave my school, you can go, and I'm not giving you a dime. Just leave.
But then you probably would never hire anybody good at that either.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't know when this started, but I mean, it's funny. Malzahn's buyout was the worst ever, and this is like 4 times it almost.
And I mean, I saw where the most expensive car in the world is $7.6 million. He's getting $76 million. He could afford 10 of those bad boys.
That would be cool. Boy, that would
He's got a fleet of luxury
cars.
Different
colors, all of them.
Ah, yes.
All right, so it's funny that he went 42-25, and Sumlin on the cheap went 51-26.
Yeah, Kevin Sumlin was only owed $7.3 million.
That's nothing.
Only $7.3 million.
Wow, 77 to get lost. That was boy, they must have money to throw it, because now you have to, not only do you lose that money, you got to hire a new coach.
That's right.
For a lot of money.
Who knows who they'll go after?
They must be loaded over there.
Hey, all those Texas oil wells.
Absolutely.
They'll put money in your pocket.
This proves it. They want to win badly.
Oh, yes.
And somebody, I was listening to a podcast, said they haven't won since we stormed Normandy. In World War II. They have not won a post-World War II championship at Texas A&M. It's been 39. So they want one, though, and they'll pony up the money for it. All right, so what do we have for Zach's picks this week?
Well, for Zach's picks, we've got 5 games. Only one of them is in the SEC. We're not covering Alabama or Auburn because Alabama's got its tune-up with Chattanooga, and they're going to win big. Auburn should trounce. New Mexico State should. We never know because Auburn could always be looking ahead.
Just win.
Yeah, just
win.
A 1-point win. So we're going to start in the ACC, a little bit east of here. North Carolina's taking a road trip to Clemson. Thank you, Tyler from Spartanburg, for firing Clemson up. Now they've got a North Carolina team who needed desperation to beat Duke last week.
Yeah, this is a good game. I think Clemson has finally come around, I hope. North Carolina just kind of, I don't know. I mean, they're 8-2.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
But they've sleepwalked to
it is a very,
it's a blah 8-2.
Yeah, exactly. And Clemson, I think they're going to finish strong. And I think it continues here.
I agree. I think Clemson's going to win big. It's going to be in Death Valley. North Carolina, like I said, they're kind of overrated at 8-2. They're not highly ranked at all. And I think Clemson, we both agree, Clemson is going to win that one big. Next game, all the way to the other side of the country to the West Coast. UCLA, USC, 2 teams that it's rumored if they lose this game, they may consider making some changes. Now, USC may not fire Lincoln Riley, but Chip Kelly could be fired if they struggle the rest of the way out and maybe go 6-6, 5-7 in that area. USC, UCLA, it's at USC. What do you think happens?
I think they finally get a win. But boy,
which one?
This is tough. USC.
Okay,
yes,
make it sure.
A home win.
Because they both really need a win.
I mean, they've lost how many in a row now, USC?
It's 4 out of the last 5.
Oof. So, yeah, they need this one. I really don't think much of either of these teams. I thought UCLA would be better too. I really did. USC, they hit the wall and it seems like they're done, but I will give them this one, and it's going to be close.
Just think right now, USC is 7-4. They could lose this, and they could finish the season 7-5 after being 6-0 at one point, highly ranked. And this has happened. I'm going to go USC as well because I think their offense is good enough. And while USC has forgotten what defense is, UCLA is not good at offense. So I think USC's got an advantage there. Mm-hmm. Next game, we're going to go to Kansas State at Kansas because, well, I couldn't find very many games, so I'm just sticking any in there I can. Kansas State, it's at Kansas, the Sunflower State Bowl. Does Kansas State beat Kansas, or does Kansas beat Kansas State?
Kansas is sneaky good with that ridiculous helmet, by the way. It's awful. It's an awful helmet.
I've never seen a blue and red bird.
No, I haven't either. Now, maybe they exist.
Probably.
Not around here.
No, probably Scotland, Ireland.
Yeah, that's somewhere.
I think that's
California.
where it originated. California.
But I think Kansas State, I see Kansas State, they're better, I guess they're better coached. I just think more of Kansas State.
Yes.
And Kansas is kind of a pretender. I mean, that's still good year for them. They're actually winning now.
And also, Kansas is down to their third-string quarterback with Jalen Daniels. Not Jaden, Jalen Daniels. He's out at Kansas. And Jason Bean both going down. Giving Kansas State winning big.
Yeah, even though that's at Kansas.
We're going to go to, we got our only SEC game of the week.
Which is?
There are only 2 conference games, and one is Florida. We're not going to touch Florida at all. Yeah, Georgia at Tennessee. It's in Knoxville, and I was thinking about picking Tennessee all the way up to the season.
Oh, okay.
Until last week because of just how both of the teams played. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, that's a good point. Georgia, I think they're finally starting to quit messing around with teams. They've been messing around a lot.
Playing with their food.
And maybe they're really finally hitting their stride when it matters most here. And Tennessee, what's going on over there? 7 points last week.
They lost 36-7 to Missouri.
Missouri's good. That's inexcusable. Yeah, I would expect Auburn to play them a lot closer than that.
And Missouri's got a legitimate chance at a 10-2 season.
They are really sneaky good. Like we kind of talked about that before. This team just doesn't get a whole lot of publicity either. Right. But they're really, if they were in another conference, if they were in the ACC,
they could win
really
the ACC.
A force.
Well, I say they could win it. They may not beat Florida State in the ACC.
Yeah, that would be really tough. On a down year, this team could have made the SEC East championship. I mean, win the East championship easy. Back when Florida and McElwain used to win it. Yeah, Missouri's better than those teams. But I see Tennessee. I just don't expect much anymore.
Right. I mean, because I thought this game being at Neyland and Knoxville, Tennessee would have an advantage, but I'm so unimpressed with the Volunteers right now.
Yeah, they've really hit. I don't know what happened. They hit the skids.
They hit Rocky
Bottom.
Bottom.
Same team. Yes.
I love saying that. That's one of my favorite sayings. They hit Rocky Bottom. So we're both going Georgia in that one. Does Georgia deserve the number one spot in the rankings? Are they the best team in the country?
Yes.
They're better than Michigan.
Better than Ohio State and Michigan.
Okay.
Yes. But I mean, it is Ohio State and Michigan could they're like SEC teams this year.
They're 1A, 1B. I've heard them
those are all really good teams. Does the loser of the Michigan State Ohio State game still make the playoff?
I don't think they can at this point because
they'd have to have more chaos.
It would have to be a lot of chaos because it looks like we're going to have multiple undefeated Power 5 champions and a whole lot of one-loss ones as well. Mm-hmm. So probably 2 at 13-0 and then 3 more at 12-1. Most likely, if that's how everything goes, it could be more, could be less, but it would take a whole lot of chaos for the loser of that game to make the playoffs.
Also saw that we are not even anywhere close to filling the bowl 6-6 teams.
Right.
We're not going to have enough, which is good for James Madison and Jacksonville State.
It is because now they have a shot at bowl eligibility after James Madison has been begging the NCAA to change their rules. They may not have to. They may get in on another crazy
I think they're going to get in.
Oh, what a wild year of college football this has turned out to be.
It's always fun.
Final game, Pac-12, big game of the week, Washington, Oregon State. And I mean, this is cupcake week for most teams. So these are the 5 best in the entire country. Washington, Oregon State. What do you think about this one?
Well, Washington has had it coming all year, and you keep thinking they're going to lose. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, is this the last chance for them to really lose? They have Washington State?
They got Washington State next week in the Apple Cup.
Apple Cup,
yeah. Apple Cup, Apple Bowl.
I would love a bowl of apples, though, right now. No,
it wouldn't be bad.
Right here. Yeah.
Might break your teeth if they're frozen. I mean, they're better. Apples are better frozen, in my opinion.
But anyway.
Yeah, we're getting off subject again.
That's enough Apple talk. Okay. All right, so Washington, sneaky through all these teams, just get by,
Right.
Win it, survive and advance, and I think they will again. Oregon State is good. I remember Washington State started off really hot, and they turned out they haven't won a game since.
They're 4-6. They started 4-0. They climbed in the rankings. They were knocking off ranked teams like Oregon State.
And Oregon State has actually held it together, 8-2.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm going to go Washington.
I was so tempted to pick Oregon State, but Washington is a team you don't want to bet against because they're going to find a way to win. Even if they're dropping fumbles at the 1-yard line, that should be touchdowns, which happened last week. Mm-hmm. Craziness once again in college football.
That was a fun game.
It was.
I like watching Washington.
Watching Washington?
You watched it, did you? Yes.
Oh, mercy. Washington, I've got Washington winning as well, but like you, I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon State wins. And I wash my hands of this. That's all for this week.
You know what the best apple is, though? The caramel apple from the
No. Wait, you pronounce it caramel and not caramel?
Yeah, I'm from Alabama. I don't know where you're from.
Caramel.
It's different in Carbon Hill.
I was born in Birmingham, Alabama.
So that's a Huntsville, Birmingham thing.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Caramel.
Yeah. I like caramel.
Caramel. Okay.
There's 2 A's in there.
That's true.
It's fall. We can talk about caramel apples.
Right.
All right,
after this week, we might have to fill the high school void with caramel apple talk. That won't last very long. Move on to other fruit. But, all right, that concludes our show. And thanks for Zach for being here. And if you like what you saw, please like and subscribe on YouTube. And thank you to Bevill State again. I've been to some of their basketball games. They're kind of starting slow, but they're gonna be good. They have a really good coach.
New coach, some newer faces playing because it's community college ball. You're going to lose a lot of players. They'll find their stride. Yeah. And as long as they succeed in conference play, basketball, that's when it really matters.
That's all that matters, yeah. So come out to Songer Gym, watch the Bears play. A lot of games this year. We just got started. So that wraps up the show, and we'll see you next week.
Bevill State
is your community college
for
convenient and affordable academic transfer options,
rewarding health science programs, high wage, high demand career tech training.
Your story starts at Bevill State.